Is our chat broken? Oh, what's the chat at? Come on, chat. Where's it at? Oh, there it is. We got a mic check, mic check. Hey, there's a lovely chat. Look at that. Oh, all right, everybody, what's up? Before that song starts, there we go. What's up, everybody? How's it going today? Oh, back again for a Monday show. Got to fix my chat here. Refresh. Yeah, there we go. We've got chat back. How's everybody doing today? It's a lovely, rainy, pouring down rain, crazy, wild rain kind of Monday out there today. Not the worst thing in the world, though. Last week, the blizzard apocalypse we had was fun. It was fun. It's kind of nice that it's like 45 degrees out, though. I can't say that I'm upset by that. I do have, I will be working outside again this week, but I do have a roof over my head, so I'm not that worried about the wet. But it is nice. It is nice that it is going to be a little warmer out. Last week I was wearing multiple pairs of pants, my long johns, all that stuff to try and stay warm. And it worked fairly well. It worked fairly well to stay warm. I never relegated myself to wearing my crazy wild crab fisherman gear, which I am a person who wears crab fisherman gear when the weather is terrible, because those guys work in the worst weather in the world, generally speaking, and that's the rain gear I bought a long time ago, and I will admit it has held up really well. If anybody out there is looking for decent rain gear, look up crab fisherman rain gear. That's what I use. I think it's like Dutch Harbor or something. But just a little hot tip for the average person out there that may or may not be headed into some inclement weather. But yeah, it's held up really well doing concrete work, all that kind of stuff. So actually, let me find that rain gear. It might be helpful to somebody. Let me find a link. Where's my button? Oh, there we go. Let's see out of my order history. I bet you it's in my orders history. Let's see here. Dutch hair. There. Yeah. There we go. Oh. Gosh, I almost might even... I might have to buy another pair someday. So it's good that it's still here in my shopping cart. How cool is that? What a feature. What a feature, you guys. I know you weren't I know you weren't tuning in today to talk about rain gear, but it just popped into my head because it's raining so bad. And I also have to remember to bring my rain gear tomorrow. So yeah, I bought these on Christmas Eve 2016, and they have held up really, really well. I guess you also can't complain with the $42. By the way, we are an Amazon affiliate, so if you go through our Amazon links, it does create a commission to the channel. I have to say that because it's the law, buds. So, but yeah, that rain gear is held up like super well. So just a hot tip from a guy like moi. Let's see who is in the chat today. I have to close all these extra windows I have open. I had like my editing window open and stuff. Working on some edits, some transitions. Trying to figure out... I'm trying to figure out pacing for the next video that's coming out. Because every time I've rewatched it, it's legitimately been like, I don't know, man. Like, I'm bored. And I'm interested in the topic. Which means it's not good. So I'm just basically working on reworks and re-editing and getting ready for 2021 season of videos coming up here. So that's been pretty fun. I've been doing some Minecraft stuff on here also. If you guys haven't noticed out those streams, we're trying to do those in the evening to not, just keep it chill. You know what I'm saying? Like if we try to do those Minecraft streams at like 10 a.m. or something, we'd have hundreds of people piling in and becoming upset and becoming wildly upset that we'd be playing video games. Oh, you know. There are a lot of folks out there that for whatever reason they get incensed that somebody would be playing video games. So I did post about this on my on the old Facebook, whatever Facebook is supposed to be. Does anybody even use Facebook? I don't know. It's all the old people I know, and it's basically just somebody's kind of Twitter rant breaking it down of like, hey man. What is wrong with liking stuff that is not specifically designed and only adult-oriented? And, you know, my initial thing was I was kind of upset because of, like, the immediate, like, anger that people have that somebody would be playing video games or something and having gray hair in their beard like I do. And I realized that, like, I bet you it's the exact same emotion from a lot of people that are like, why are you doing fish tanks? You're just playing with your fish tanks. You're just playing with your fish tanks. It's that's what like little kids do. But the funny thing is when I do show them my actual tanks and the ecosystem that is in them, they go, "Oh, wait, that's all real? That's all real stuff that you're growing in there?" Like, yep. And it's not 100%. It wouldn't be 100% of people that are like, whoa, dude, check that out. But it's a much higher percentage. So I think realistically what I'm trying to do this year is try to not only like help the youngsters and the new people to the hobby, which is fine. I don't mind doing that. That is all great. I do want to kind of break a little bit of a barrier to the average person with my content, so that I can kind of get to the point where I'm getting people interested in something that they might not be interested in. So that's why I haven't been putting up a ton of videos. I started doing those shorts a little bit because that seemed like a good filler thing to do. But realistically, I don't think people were very enthusiastic about those shorts. So it's kind of like, yeah, maybe I'll just stop doing those because it seems like I'm doing extra work and missing my few hours of sleep over it. And maybe it's not bringing a lot of value to people, but it's kind of funny. 2021 is just a weird time. We're in the middle of a pandemic. There's a lot of crazy stuff going on, and transitioning to a new year. We'll see what happens, but it is what it is. Not a whole lot of commentary in the chat today, I guess. So let's say what's up to everybody in the chat. Alyssa Bentley, Wesley's Fish Club, Mikey Fishy, Frank Dominguez, Richards Tanks, Recab Harris, Smishmash Socks, Muppet 929, Deborah Lewis, Lady Guinevere, who actually has been posting some really cool stuff in the Discord, and I appreciate it. Multiple thumbs up on that action, along with a lot of the other people on the Discord, too. Pipex is here. Jacob Kelly. Michael Bubla. What's up, buddy? Sci-Fi Swordmans. What's up, kids? Glad to get back to something like normal. Not sure what's going on there. See what's going on. Miradol Singh is checking in, but off to class. We'll watch a replay. Okay, cool. So, a couple things that have been on my mind as far as the, kind of dealing with the antagonism of certain judgmental groups and things like that. I think is kind of where I'm sort of leaning to right now, is like trying to make more content that sort of reaches over to the person that doesn't really have anything to do with fish tanks. And initially my thought process behind that was like, man, I really want to make my stuff more like I kind of wanted to make my stuff more like a professional production or whatnot. Unfortunately, like, one of the downsides to that is that I'm not really in a position to be able to spend like 50, 60 hours a week working exclusively on YouTube content. So that's like ultimately a problem. In a pragmatic way, the heck is this thing doing? Hold on. We have a stream setting that's weird. Okay. Unsure what's going on here. Why is this being weird? Okay. Anyhow. So that was kind of like the initial part of my project, was like, or sort of the idea that I had was like, I want to make more, I want to make more stuff that's like more and more professional, I guess, in kind of that long format. And my initial thing is I wanted to kind of focus on doing the interviews with people. I wanted to do more of the interviews with people that that I would be able to kind of produce and put out in a more cinematic way, which of course the plague situation that we're in really put a damper on that, because it's like, oh, if I'm not going to be traveling, and I'm certainly not going to be like going around interviewing people, then that's not really going to work. So how do I go back to sort of ground zero of like, how do you kind of engage with a group of people that you aren't currently engaged with? And it's like, so you need some kind of parallel thing, or some kind of non-parallel thing that could potentially expose people to some of the projects that you're doing, and maybe that would be a spot that kind of brings some people into doing something that I find to be really rewarding. I love working on my fish tanks, and the reality is like, and I know that this always sounds like super rude or whatever if I do say it, but like, if there was a world where I could just work on fish tanks and that was it, and that's all I had to do was just like build and set up and maintain fish tanks, then I probably would do that. The unfortunate side of it is that, like, if I wanted to start a business to do that, then you're just in the customer service, driving around all the time doing work that people don't want to do. Or, if I'm doing it on YouTube, that means I got 5 other jobs I got to do. So it really kind of limits what's going on. But wait a minute. there's something that I could do is just like do something like learn Minecraft, because I do want to build giant fish tanks in Minecraft and be able to kind of like bridge that parallel to other groups of people that may or may not like the hobby or have any kind of reason to even like encounter the hobby at all. You know, the way the algorithms are built now, you generally aren't going to encounter things online that you aren't already interested in. Almost everything is directing you towards things that you're already interested in, and it's so that you'll buy them. I mean, that's basically how it works. Now, you know, to a lot of people out there that are confused, that think that most things are a conspiracy. The conspiracy is they want to sell you products. That's basically what it boils down to. The motivation is making sales, and then you buy the products, then they get money, then they can spend money to make that more efficient, right? So that's where the internet is right now. So if you had no reason to encounter fish tank stuff, you just wouldn't. Like, it wouldn't happen. You wouldn't just happen across it. Whereas you might be a Minecraft fan, watch one of my Alyssa and I like running around in Minecraft, and then go like, hey, what does this guy do? What does this guy do on his channel? Like, oh, wait a minute, he has a bunch of other videos on here. So maybe I'll check out some of those. So that was kind of my thought there, is that like maybe it bridges a parallel of like a lot of people that could go, oh, now I have something. Now I have like, oh, wait a minute, what's this thing? Let me kind of delve into this hobby a little bit. That might be something really good, because in my opinion, like the aquarium hobby helps out the average person. I mean, at least with like planted tanks, reef tanks, stuff like that, will help out the average person with a lot of information that would be valuable moving forward, whether you're doing fish tanks or not. So the horticulture side of everything, like learning how to grow either corals or plants, breeding animals and stuff like that. So fish and shrimp and all of that kind of stuff. All that stuff is pretty important to learn, like the husbandry of good feeding and breeding practices, and reproducing plants, and making sure that your fertilizer is correct, your water quality is good, testing things out, testing hypothesis on whether or not you have identified whatever problem it is that you have or don't have going on in your aquarium, which is all very, very important in my opinion. You have a lot of electrical things to deal with, building stuff, assembling things, repairing things, which is all important for anybody, in my opinion, in the world that we're living in, to understand how electricity works, to how, fluid dynamics work. So the water goes up, the water drains down. Well, we all have a house with some kind of plumbing in it where the water's got to go up and the water's got to go back down. So, those things are all very important. Like building stands, doing minor construction projects like that is very important for people to learn to become handy. If they aren't being taught it now, you're not going to learn it unless you're going out of your way to go learn these things. And I think if you're doing a hobby, that realistically will lend itself to you kind of going out of your comfort zone and like trying some new things. And all of these little things, I think, add up as a really rewarding hobby, and a rewarding hobby that helps you grow as a person to continue going forward and learning more things, right? And I think that that's really important. Herp Diversity says one more like to get to 20 likes. Herp Diversity is just pushing for the likes today, so I guess I'll help you out and say it during the stream here. Hit the like button and smash the subscribe, and then become a member and join up on Patreon, and then next thing you know, we'll be the world famous fish tankery or something. So Aquarium Adventures has a good point. It says, do you feel YouTube tries to get you to stay in your lane, stick to fish tanks, not Minecraft sort of thing? 100%. YouTube will 100% do that. Nowadays in 2021, YouTube wants you to stay in your niche and will immediately punish you for putting up videos that aren't within your niche. That is what YouTube wants. YouTube wants your expected product to come out onto YouTube so that it can immediately monetize it and sell advertising. I know that this is a complex idea for a lot of people that don't like deal with YouTube itself, but let me put it to you in a very simple way. Let's say that you are somebody who makes hamburgers at work, and you are paid and compensated by your company to make hamburgers because customers come in and buy hamburgers, and they pay you a portion of the profit of, well, the portion of the sale, not the profit. They pay you a portion of the sale, not the profit, in order to maintain you staying working there so that you can make burgers and blah, blah, blah. Now, one day you come in and you say, I'm going to make Subway sandwiches today while I'm at work. And your work will say like, well, we don't pay you to make that because people are coming in here to buy hamburgers, right? And you go, yeah, but I'm real passionate about these Subway sandwiches, these sub-style sandwiches, not the chain gross place with the gross bread and the gross, all the stuff that they put in it. Anyhow, and you come in and you're like, I'm passionate about this, I want to make some. And they just go like, yeah, we don't pay you to do that, man. Like, we need you to make burgers and that's it. Well, YouTube has turned into that. YouTube has turned, YouTube has turned into a, you better have hamburgers, and if you put out sub sandwiches, we're going to punish you for making Subway sandwiches. Now, I've had this channel for like 12, 13 years or something goofy like that. And I've put all sorts of wacky content up on here. I've got some subscribers. I don't have a ton. Hold on, let me look. I got to go to the dashboard. I think it's like 28,000. Yeah, 28,500. I've got 28,500 subscribers, but we don't have 28,000 viewers. If we did, there would be more than 60 people here right now, right? But I'm happy to experiment with putting out stuff on my channel because these members right down here, which, by the way, I need to update that. Because the reality is I have 88 members, right? I have 88 members. And let me pull up Patreon. I think Patreon's accurate. I think it's 200, but I want to make sure. Yeah. What up? The Patreon. We got to open up the Patreon. Yeah, the Patreon is 200. So I literally have 288 people that watch this channel that contribute to the production of whatever the heck it is that I am doing on this channel. And that's basically the people that are monetarily invested in it. And it's like, if all of these 288 people said, stop doing what you're doing, there's no way I'm going to be a part of this, I would go, okay, let me think about it. Let me think about that. And whether or not I would sacrifice the, I guess, positive feedback or whatever it is from I don't know, it's hard to kind of explain, but like I have like 288 bosses basically. We have like 1% of the viewership, basically exactly. It's like exactly 1% of the viewership. We have 28,500. We have 288, right? Is my math right on that? 288, add 2 zeros, 28. Yeah. So if it was exactly 1%, it would be 285. But we actually have we're slightly above that 1% number, right? So the reality for me as a creator is like, I already work 50 hours a week. I have other jobs that I work also. And would I love YouTube to make the amount of money that I do on all the other work? Sure. Yeah. I would like that. That would be great. And I would do YouTube full time. But also at the same time, YouTube not being the only spoon I have in the pot, it's kind of like, all right, I might as well just kind of experiment and do the things that I want to do, because the 288 people are the ones that I'm really concerned about. The 288 bosses that I have. And I know that people out there that watch content are like, "Hey, I'm invested. I watched the thing you made." Like, okay, here's a parallel to that. Like, if you listen to the Rolling Stones album, just any of the Rolling Stones albums, right? If you listen to any of the Rolling Stones albums, do you feel like you're somehow involved with Mick Jagger? Like, do you honestly think, like, because you listen to the Rolling Stones, like, you could tell Mick Jagger that, like, I don't like your new song, and I think you should make a different song, right? Like, that's the weird parallel. Like, I don't think that I'm Mick Jagger, but I'm literally somebody who makes stuff that people watch or whatever, and people watch it for absolutely free and then feel like they have, like, all of the power in the world to, like, tell the people that they want the thing that they watched. Like, have you ever called the Discovery Channel and be like, I don't know, man, I watched your documentary on lions, and I feel like you didn't do it justice, and also you should put out 16 more episodes tomorrow, or I'm never watching the Discovery Channel ever again. Does that person exist? Yes, 100%. I feel like that person 100% exists, but it's like, I don't feel like they're reasonably engaging with the planet that we live on, right? It's like, I don't know, it just seems a little bonkers to me, but maybe that's like totally reasonable behavior to everybody else in the world, and I'm the weird one. I don't know. It's possible. The Fish Tank Barn says, would you put the Minecraft stuff on another channel? Now, I'm not sure if that's a question, and I don't get the tone behind it, right? Like, I'm not sure if it's like, I don't know. I don't know, Mike. I probably would put Minecraft stuff on another channel. Yes. I would be willing to do that. It would be fine. But also at the same time, like, how many channels am I supposed to, excuse me, how many channels am I as an individual guy supposed to create so that you don't accidentally run into something that you don't really necessarily like 100%. Like, I'm not sure what it is that I'm supposed to cater to every person. Like, should every video I make have its own YouTube channel so that you don't accidentally watch, like, a plumbing video or a carpentry video, or, I'm not sure. So should every video, like, have its own channel? So, like, Bulbitis, for instance, should I just make its own YouTube channel, like, produce all of the graphics for it, like, do all the search engine optimization, like, start it out with, like, no subscribers or anything like that, and have it just be the Bulbitis YouTube channel? Like, there's no other plants or anything on there. But then, like, if I'm going to do a killifish video, I should probably start a whole new channel for killifish. Like, I don't know if that's the expectation that people have or not, but I don't know. Yeah, I mean, I'm sure I will likely put Minecraft stuff on another channel. I'll likely put other things on another channel, but, like, I mean, this channel is not, it's not labeled the only thing we do here is aquariums. Right? I think there's a channel that's named that. It's like, I don't know, Aquarium Adventures is a good example. That's literally like Aquarium Adventures. Like, it's got it in the title. It's got it in the title of the channel. In my opinion, the hobby is incredibly beneficial to people willing to do the work and think critically. Unfortunately, American culture instinctively wants people to do the opposite. Yes, and I think that's like a pretty deep. I think it's a pretty long conversation for me to have as an individual, to talk about, like, American culture. But American culture does not necessarily. It's not like an endorsement. It doesn't encourage intellectualism. It doesn't encourage. It doesn't encourage that much. I guess intellectualism along with like art or craftsmanship or any of that kind of stuff. Like a lot of American culture is just the promotion of cheap products and goods. I mean, that basically is what it is. Like, if Best Buy puts something on sale, they sell a whole bunch more, right? Because it's on sale. We're getting a deal. It's cheap goods. But if like Best Buy decides to do a symposium on how the LED diodes act within a plasma versus, what's the other type of screen or an LED, what are the types of screens? Like if they had a symposium about like how the diodes work and all of these different screens, how many people would show up for it? I don't think a lot of people would show up for it. So I don't know. I mean, I've spent a lot of years like kind of experimenting and making videos and doing stuff. And I think I'm just going to continue to experiment and make videos and things, but we'll see how it is. Aquarium Adventure says it's branding. Yeah, I get it. Says it does annoy me that I can only make videos about aquariums, else it tanks my channel. I like that live streams have or seem to have a little more freedom. Well, live streams will tank your channel too. So if you're somebody that normally puts up like a 7-minute video that is specifically about something like hang on back filters on an aquarium, and then you decide to do a live stream one day, you get a bunch less engagement. Like there's only 46 people watching right now. I got 27 likes, a little bit of watch time, whatever, blah, blah, blah. But people aren't chatting very much. People aren't going to leave comments on this. They aren't going to do anything like that. So it's literally going to be like the watch time percentage will be really low because people will watch for like 10 minutes out of an hour and a half show. People will have not hit the like button. People will have not left a comment. People will have not done all this stuff. So the average channel that normally puts up a 7-minute video, for instance, that has all the search engine optimization around it specific to that video, and then all of a sudden they decide to do a live stream. Whoopsie doopsie. Which actually that streak kind of goes both ways. Like if you only ever do live content, you can definitely get if you like only do live content and then you try to do edited content, you can really turn off a lot of your fans, which is why you'll notice like a lot of people that do like long live streaming, they do like a separate channel for their clips, and that's why, is because they want to get the clip people to come in. Now, I want more people to come into the aquarium hobby, so that's my goal. That's realistically my goal, if I had one. BCFR Aquatics says at Corvus, is there money to be made in aquarium maintenance? Tips? There is money to be made in aquarium maintenance. If you have the equipment, the knowledge, the know-how, the willingness, it's typically what I would tell people to do if you are going to start an aquarium-related business, because a van, hoses, some trash cans, some cleaning materials, it's all pretty basic stuff that you already know, but you definitely want to have extra versions of it. That's why it becomes where the trash cans come in, that kind of stuff. So, like, you'd have some hoses, some scrubbers, some water test kits, blah, 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 all that kind of stuff. What you do is you put them all in those, what are they, 45 or 55-gallon trash cans on wheels, right? So if you have 6 accounts in that day, each one of those should have the same setup in the trash can. And you actually use the trash can for water changes for that day. The reason for that is you don't want to cross-communicate house to house to house or building to building or dentist's office to the hospital down the street or any of that kind of stuff. So what you do is you have a bunch of setups for your maintenance equipment so that if you use this one at the dentist's office, then the next place you go is the doctor's office down the street. You use the next setup. So the dirty ones you put back in the van, leave those in there, and then you have like kind of basic equipment and stuff to be able to kind of fix. You take some tools with you and all the kind of basic stuff, a drill and, snips and pliers and all that kind of normal stuff in case you got to fix some things. Of course, you got to have like a lot of super glue with you. You got to have a gangster amount of super glue because things are going to happen. You have to re-glue stuff together quite often, but everything's pretty basic. And as far as like that goes, I would start out and give it a try because it's something that's not. It's something that's like not too outrageous. You could find your local fish club, something like that. Some people would probably maybe need some maintenance or something like that when they're out of town, or maybe people on the peripheral that are like, hey, I need help with my tank. I'd be willing to pay somebody, that kind of stuff. Whatever kind of social networking that you have going on. You could put the word out there that like, hey, I'm starting out a small business. I'm doing Saturday and Sunday or whatever your weird schedule is. But maintenance is the one place I would recommend people to start out because it's pretty low overhead if you have equipment. If you have a serviceable vehicle and can afford to put some money into your business to kind of start out, you don't need a ton of capital. It's not like you need a whole lot of it. And you probably have done your own maintenance. You're familiar with water testing, that kind of stuff. And you can definitely do it. And it's something that can generate money in a knowable, like you can pragmatically know, oh, I've got 6 maintenance trips to do next week and I'm charging $50 or whatever the number is. You would know that if you were doing 6 next week and you were charging $50, you go, I'm going to make $300 next week minus all my costs. So gasoline, insurance, bond, license, materials, blah, blah, blah. And you can go like, man, I'm only making $140 a week. This isn't working. I need to get more clients, or I need to charge more or less or whatever, or that kind of stuff. You can really kind of know what your schedule is going to be, what are more, if you can add more or take away this and that, and really work with the business that way and go that route. That's the route that I would recommend for anybody that's starting out. I don't recommend people to get into farming. I don't recommend people to get into breeding. I don't recommend people to like, oh, I'm going to start selling corals. Like the best thing that you have, if you're somebody that doesn't already have a business or a business model or anything like that, is your ability to actively operate a small business, helping people that need something that you can bring to them, right? Like if you're a brain surgeon, for instance, the best thing that you could do is to go work within a big network, medically, blah, 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 right? You have a very specific, extremely expensive skill set, right? As somebody that does aquarium maintenance, you have your personality of being happy and or whatever, being like personable, right? You have your cleanliness, timeliness, and just ambition to do it. Like it's not really something that takes a whole lot of training, especially if you're somebody that already does fish tank maintenance for yourself. It's something that you could get off the ground and can start to grow. So, I mean, that's the way that I would go about it. But if there were steps, I would say get a vehicle that can do it, figure out your kit, like figure out your exact kit that you need to do maintenance. And you can just practice on your own house, right? Like set up a kit and you're going to put it in your car and you're going to drive around the block. I mean, you don't have to drive around the block. You just kind of simulate it, but drive around the block, come park. You have to park inconspicuously. You don't just park in somebody's parking spot, right? You park inconspicuously, come to your house like you're going to your customer's house. Go in there, do the maintenance, figure out all of the stuff that you needed that you may or may not have had in your kit to do whatever the maintenance is. Do all of the water tests, ammonia, nitrate, nitrite, all that kind of stuff. Go through it, clean the glass, and do all of the stuff that you would expect out of somebody to do maintenance that if you were paying them cash. Clean up your mess, leave, load everything back into your car, and figure out what it is that if it's something that you could do. And by the way, if it takes you like 4 or 5 hours to do that at your own house, it might not be the right gig for you, but you could practice it. It's something that you could practice, you could try out. You can figure out what's the cost of every single kit that you need. Are you going to be able to fit them in your car, your van, your truck, your whatever, all that stuff? Then get your business license, then get your bond, get your insurance, and you'll be good to go. If you're doing aquarium maintenance, you will need a bond, which will cover any kind of damage that could happen when you go out on site. Your insurance people can advise you on that. I'm not the person to give you professional advice on how much of a bond you should carry or whatnot, but your insurance person can help you out with that. But yeah, just get your insurance, get your license, and then test it out and figure out what it is that you're going to have to charge. If it takes you 5 hours and you're like, dude, I have to charge $70 an hour, that's probably not going to work. It's probably not going to work out that great to get a lot of people to, pay $350 if it takes you 5 hours to do the maintenance. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, but you can just kind of practice and go through it and figure it out. Like Aquarium Adventure says, bring lots of towels. My tip for a maintenance business. Yeah, you should definitely have a lot of towels. You're going to have to clean up spills or anything like that. How to get water removal. Are you going to put it down the drain? Are you going to put it out in people's yard? What's your plan? And when you have all that gunk in your kit, you do have to bring those back and have some method of sterilizing them before you go to your next jobs. A lot of the places in Europe had a constant flow boiling tank, right? So they have boiling water that would just circulate in these little holding tanks on the wall, so that all of the aquarium tools that they used, they would go drop them in there before they took them to go to another tank. So how are you going to do your sterilization? How are you going to clean all of your stuff? Are you going to use chemical? Are you going to use heat? Figure out exactly what it is. And, you're probably going to need a lot of towels and stuff like that. That's for sure. And then, you're going to have to do laundry all the time. So I would calculate that in. George Costanza. Oh, Lady Guinevere. My aquarium is being taken over by BBA due to cross-contamination from a previous tank. Has me so frustrated right now. I'm not even enjoying my aquarium at the moment. So with BBA, I normally go through the overdosing of glutaraldehyde, which is, what the hell is it called? Seachem is the one that I use. Seachem, what is it? What the hell? What's that called? Seachem Excel. There we go. I'm gonna brain fart McGee over here. I normally buy the big jug. I buy the big jug. It looks like the price went up a little bit. Looks slightly expensive. I've done it a couple of times on my channel. I go through and I dose quite a bit of this stuff over a week-long period of time. So I do double the dose every day. So the dose is, here we go. Dose in milliliters, Flourish Excel dosing table. Okay. Dose in drops, dose in capfuls. Okay. So 100 gallons is one capful once every other day. So in my 240 plus the sump is about 300 gallons. So I would do 9 capfuls. I would do 9 capfuls every day for about a week in the 300 total volume gallons of the 240, which I think is like a half a cup, I believe. I'm not sure. Don't quote me on my measurements. I have a little thing that has a line on it for the 240. Just from the last time I did it, like a year and a half ago or something. It's just hanging on a hook. And yeah, I do that. It turns red and goes away. And then after that is all about maintenance. You're going to have to be doing water changes, get that on a schedule. Find out what's going on with your water change water. It could be coming from excess minerals and nutrients or whatever in your water change water. So kind of test that stuff, start to figure out what's going on. BBA almost always is because just maintenance is not, I mean, it's not to say that it's lax. Like maybe you just missed some maintenance. Maybe you accidentally fed extra or whatever, and weren't really thinking about it. And yeah, so I mean, that's all stuff that is probably important. Man, people that have supposedly been air quote canceled are back to work. Very interesting. Yeah. Yeah. Anyhow, sorry. I don't know if anybody's a fan of the comedian Chris D'Elia, but he just released a thing apparently yesterday or the day before. He's been gone for a year because of some pretty strong misconduct allegations, which seem to be valid. And seems like he's working on some problems, which I'm 100% in agreement for. I really hope to see good people who have made mistakes learn, make amends, move forward. That's a big part of my sobriety. That's what I'm all about. I'm all about people exhibiting personal growth and growing and becoming new people. So I think it's very important. I mean, I don't know where the bar is. I have no claim to know where the bar is, but I encourage that kind of behavior. And kind of popped up just over there, like, hey, whoa. Richard Stank says, yeah, it seems like I've seen it. Lots of accusations. Yeah, it sounds like they're all pretty founded. So, and more often than not, they pretty much are. I'm not saying believe every single person, but follow up and find out what's going on. Because sometimes they aren't, but more often than not, they are. So, Aubrey Wright says, I like how you do the Minecraft streams late at night. I'm usually searching for something long enough that I could pay attention to or not while I'm trying to go to sleep. I like that. Like, hey, I watch your live streams so I can go snooze. So I can go snooze time. I don't know if that's an endorsement, but it still feels good. You're a member anyhow, so it's all good. Right? That's one of the 288. It's one of the 288 people that I have to stay in tune with, you know what I'm saying? Jeff Rose fishy keeping. I don't know how to speak right now when I try to say Jeff Rose fish keeping. Jeff Rose, what's up, buddy? Good to see you. Aquarium Adventures, I tried lots of BBA. I finally got some flying silver foxes, and they were the only way I could get rid of it. Yeah, one of the problems is there's two different types of flying fox, the Siamese algae eaters. There's two different types, like some that do and some that don't eat algae. And I can't remember off the top of my head. I haven't kept them in so many years. I think the last time was like, I want to say like 2012 or something like that was the last time I kept those fish. But definitely get a mixed bag in the U.S. of what you're exactly going to get when you go to the store. So it's not a recommendation. I never really recommend people to get an animal to solve a problem that is from the human side, right? It's sort of like if you have a lot of snakes in your yard, and so you just go buy some mongoose, right? And you just release the mongoose out there, and you're like, yeah, they'll eat the snakes, They will eat the snakes, but you will end up with the mongoose problem. And then you will end up with a hungry mongoose problem. So then, you've got the mongoose there. So now you got a mongoose problem. So you buy some foxes to get to bite the mongooses to get them out. And then the next thing you know, you've got foxes everywhere. And all you ever wanted was a goat, but you can't have a goat because now you have foxes and mongoose all over. And it's just the whole ecosystem in your backyard collapses based on trying to get rid of some snakes, right? And you could be like, all I ever wanted was a Pepsi, right? Let's see. At Corvus, green hair algae overtaking moss. That's a constant issue with moss that generally has an abundance of light hitting it. So I would get it shaded out more if you can. Generally, moss doesn't want that direct light. It just wants to hang out in a pretty ambient lit area. It doesn't want to have like direct light blasting on it. So I would generally mosses. I would generally just reposition and of course, do some maintenance. Get out your toothbrush. Do I have a toothbrush down here? I should have one. Oh, I think Olivia stole it. Oh, here we go. Get your cheapo toothbrush. Clean some of that hair algae out. Consider reposition. Move some lights and stuff. Leave it like that for a couple weeks. Kind of clean the algae off. See if you can't get the little positive growth from the moss, and hopefully eliminate some of the algae interaction. It almost always is just because there's just too much directional light landing on the moss. Mosses really do want to just kind of be in that sort of ambient light, which is it's extraordinarily difficult to figure out in an aquarium whether or not you have the right amount of diffused light on a moss, because you're like, dude, I want the light on it so I can see it, but maybe it wants to be further away. And there's a big difference. Like my 150, I have a ton of moss growing in the sump. The light is just beaming right on it, but it gets a bunch of algae growing in it. Whereas the mosses I got in the back of the 150, same water and same brand of lights and all that stuff. It doesn't have any algae growing on it. It's just back there being moss because it's back kind of in the sort of dark area. And it's like, hey, I'm moss, I'm growing just back here in the back of the tank, and no one ever sees me because it's impossible to get a camera shot of the moss in the back of the tank. It's impossible. I even tried to get my underwater camera back there. Nonsense. Someday I'll pull it out. I'll just pull it out of the tank and like hold it up and be like, look, camera, here's the moss that's growing back there. But when will that day be? Probably not today. Reticulated Siamese algae eaters slurp up algae like spaghetti. That's right. But sometimes you get the other one, which I can't remember the name of it right now. Somebody will remind me. But my luck is I end up with the wrong fish that doesn't eat algae. And then I'm like, oh, man. And then now I got this fish in my tank that I only ever wanted to get rid of some algae. And now I have this fish that I own and I have to take care of. So you just end up, in my opinion, it's very easy to replace a problem with just another problem. In my opinion, it's just like do some water changes, do some maintenance, balance it back out, and you'll get there. The Excel really helps with that BBA because it kills the BBA. Like it eliminates that algae for a time. That doesn't mean it's not coming back, but it does eliminate it for a time. It really stunts it and kills it off. So, because manually removing it's a nightmare. Michael Bublé, I feel like the only exposure the hobby gets is when like MTV Cribs is showing some millionaire's huge saltwater tank or koi pond. Even then it feels unattainable to most people. Yeah, that's very true. It's very true. That is very true. It feels like the only time we ever get exposed in the mainstream is like some like Marshawn Lynch bought a fish tank, and those tank guys made it, and they put it. It was the ugliest tank I've seen in years, and those guys put it in, and then people were like, "Oh yeah, fish tank. All right, cool. All right, and moving on." Like, yep, didn't engage with the people. Yep. George Costanza says, or did I accidentally buy a Chinese algae eater? The thing is, you specifically identify, adolescent fish in a tank at a store where they've been shipped halfway across the country. In the United States, then they're put into a tank that's probably not even that good for them. And they're unhealthy, and they're probably not doing well. It's very difficult to identify. So as they grow up, you can start to identify them because you give them a pretty good environment. They start to color up properly. They mature a little bit, and you're like, oh no, I've got the wrong fish. Just get a honey badger, and all your problems will be solved. That's a good point. Likely. I can't afford the NFL salaries, though. The NFL salary is really high on the honey badger. So, I mean, if I had that kind of millions of dollars, I'd probably just take care of it myself. Fish Tank Barn with a $4 super chat with a cup of coffee. Thank you, buddy. I very much appreciate it. Let's see. Where was the comment I was going to... Oh, that reminds me. Had someone want us to test saltwater. Do you normally problem solve saltwater test problems like freshwater ones? Yes, there are just more tests to do generally. So you're testing for calcium. The list is long, but you're basically testing for all that same stuff. You start out with ammonia and go from there. But you're normally testing for deficiencies and things. And with saltwater tanks now, there's this company. It's called Titan, right? Titan. Whoop. Oh my God, what did I do? What did I hit? F9? F8? What did I hit? I slipped and hit F11 somehow. How did that happen? I tried to hit delete. What am I doing? Do I not? Whoa. Titan. What's that called? Water system? Water system, maybe? Let's try that. Is this them? I think this is them. No, maybe not. I don't know. Is it Titan? I think it's Titan. I don't know. There's a company that you can send your water off to, and they give you a full spectral analysis of your water, and then gives you recommendations on your dosing schedule for calcium, magnesium, all that stuff that goes into the reef. That's my best advice to person that are getting into the reef hobby now. If you're getting into saltwater, that's my advice to get with or Triton. There we go. I'm an idiot. I forgot the R. Triton. Water testing. There we go. Triton. Whew, man, I'm a dum-dum. That's all right. It's all right. I'm going to decline your cookies. There we go. Yeah, the Triton method, calcium, magnesium, zinc, strontium, it does everything. I think I'm in the European one, but either way, you can send your water in to the lab every month or however often you want. It's not the most expensive thing in the world. I think it's like $30 a month or something like that. I think you have to buy like a year-long thing though. I don't know. I'm not a representative of those guys, but if I was getting the average person into the reefing hobby, that's what I would tell them to do is get on board with that, because you're going to get real specific readout tests of your water and your water quality and what to do with your water quality and stuff moving forward. That would be the best thing that you could get, because in my opinion, because it's going to give you a real readout of what's going on with your water. Dang, I just realized it's Monday. What's up, Dennis? What's going on? This guy had This guy had like blood red nitrate level recordings. He said it was an 800 gallon and seemed to be miffed when I suggested a water change. Yeah, I don't know, man. There's a lot of people out there that really don't want to do water changes. Maybe they're trying to make a system that you don't have to do a water change. I've noticed most of the people that like don't want to do water changes, like they have too many projects or too many things going on, and they're like, oh, I just don't have time. I don't have time, so I'm going to try and figure out a way to like never do water changes. And I know, because I've specifically worked on stuff like that for myself. What the hell was that? Oh, that's my calendar. Calendar event. Let's see what the calendar event is. That thing needs to be silent. How do I turn that off? I mean, it is like boom, boom. It's like super loud, dude. Oh, okay. We have a meeting with our financiers, or whatever you want to call them. I'm not sure. Try to expand my business here on the property. So, gonna build a new fish room this year. So what do? You start doing Minecraft streams, and eventually somebody will watch my fish channel again. That's all good. My aquarium channel, whatever you want to call it. The Fish Nerd says the drip system. Yeah, I would 100% recommend the drip system to anybody out there. The new fish room, the new fish building, whatever you want to call it, will have a drip system in all the tanks. That's what I'm going to go over to this next time around. I'm not going to accept not doing the drip system. I will be doing that 100%. All right, guys, I love you very much. I have to go talk to bank people now, because that's what the schedule says. The schedule says go talk to the bank people, so that's what we're going to do. We'll give a shout-out to all the members. Thank you very much. Daniel Velez, Terry's Tropical Tanks, Big D Smoke, Alyssa Bentley, Terry's Tropical Tanks, Big D Smoke, Fish Tank Barn, thank you very much for being a member and super chatting today. Daniel Velez, Lady Guinevere, Aubrey Wright, Myrek, Tom's Chick, from Wyoming. What's up, dude? All right, there's a lot of people, and there's a bunch of patrons here that don't have a badge on YouTube, and I tried to fix that, but I can't figure out how to do it. I don't know. Bye-bye.